Good evening. No timekeeper. Meanwhile, I have the rest of the evening.
I'm right here. I don't know how much time you get.
How much time do I have? Just tell me.
You've got 20.
Oh, no. I'm not going to take 20 minutes. I've been at many of these meetings, and I know you guys are at a forum. You don't want to sit through another one. I just want to be brief. I just had a debate with the other three candidates, so I've distilled my ideas for the town council. And I look at why I should be elected mayor of San Diego and why I differ from the other three. First and key is experience. I mean, these are complicated issues we got to deal with. I mean, we were given a minute or 30 seconds to answer questions of housing and transportation and jobs and pensions. These are really complex issues, and you got to understand their context, their federal, their state thing, and be creative about solving them and have the leadership to do it. Many of you may not know it. I came here to San Diego 42 years ago to be a professor of history at San Diego State University. I got my doctorate at Cornell University, taught here for 22 years. While I was teaching and my children were in elementary school, I got mad at the school board. I was president of PTA, I got upset at them. We dealt with them with community organizing, but I ended up running for the school board and was elected, and eventually elected president of the school board. While I was there, I was one of only 2 Democrats, I think, on the school board, but I was elected president because I was seen as the leader and wanted to get things done. We cut bureaucracy out of the middle, put resources in the classroom. Some of you may remember we hired Tom Pazon, who was probably the best superintendent we've had in San Diego for decades. Out of that, I was elected twice to the San Diego City Council. Elected again. I was in the minority party, but I was elected deputy mayor during one of those years. Because people saw me as having the skills to bring people together, but to get things done. I was proud. I was the councilman for downtown. I was proud to lead the way for the gas lamp district plan, for example. If you've been to the gas lamp, it's one of the most vibrant places in the city. It showed that with focused planning and public-private partnerships, we can get things done. I'm going to get back to those CCDC in a minute, though. I was elected 10 times to the United States Congress. Served as the chairman of the House of Representatives Veterans Affairs Committee. How many are veterans here? Thank you for your service. But I think if you've been following this, you'll know during my 4 years as chairman, we did more for the veterans in this nation probably than all of the decades people had done combined. We put money, billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars into mental health care. I announced with the President of the United States and the Secretary of the VA a plan to end all veterans' homelessness within 5 years. If that's implemented, we only have about half the problem we have in San Diego to confront. I wrote the GI Bill for the 21st century. Honor my dad, came back from World War II. Never had ability to go to college. He went to college, but we could buy a house for the first time in my family's history. I lived in a nice neighborhood without living with my relatives in an apartment. Go to a nice school, go to college, become a congressman. 8 million veterans created post-war prosperity in that way. And now I wanted to make sure that kids who had fought in Afghanistan and Iraq had the same benefits. And we wrote the bill that did that, and there are 700,000 young people in college because of that bill. I'm pretty proud of that. So I have the experience, the leadership, the achievements that that are unmatched. But in addition, I was talking to these young candidates who are running against me. Like Ronald Reagan, by the way. Remember when he ran against Walter Mondale? He said he will not use the youth and inexperience of his opponents as an issue in the campaign. So I will not. But they keep talking about the future, new ideas and all that. That's me. And the only way we turn the page in San Diego to the 21st century is break 50 years, 5 decades of the stranglehold of City Hall by special interest. I represent a change in that. And what do I mean by special interest? Just give me 3 quick examples. I was the councilman for downtown. I know what CCDC, the Center City Development, could do. But I know it's past its time. And I was for the abolition of it before the governor and the Supreme Court abolished it. Because we were putting a couple $100 million a year of public taxes into private development. What about our neighborhoods? What about Clairmont? What about Mira Mesa? What about San Isidro or Sherman Heights? It is time to put the money into the neighborhoods. I'm going to set up a neighborhood investment corporation and take that money, where they haven't stolen it back again, to use for the infrastructure that you all know what's needed. I could spend 2 minutes here, and you all could tell me the first 3 things that are needed, that don't cost hundreds of millions, but would raise the quality of life almost overnight. I was just in Sherman Heights. They have one soccer field for the whole community of 25,000. Kids play on it every minute of every day. There's no night lights though, so they lose a couple hours or more a day. I put night lights there, $40,000 or $50,000. You change the quality of life of the whole neighborhood. And you can give me several things, whether it's parking or infrastructure or rec center or athletic fields or facades. We could go through it in a few minutes. We could tell you what the Neighborhood Investment Corporation should do for Clairmont. And we're going to do it because we're going to break that control that a few people have. You know, the City Council just passed something they call funding for the convention center expansion. I don't want to argue about the convention center expansion right now, but the way they're funding, you know how they did it? They voted $1 billion, or they voted that the private hotel industry in this city could vote on whether there shall be a 2.5% increase in the transit occupancy tax. This is a public tax, but the private guys are voting on it. And worse than that, they control how it's going to be spent. It's going to be $1 billion over 30 years. 30 years. The $35 million a year. They get to tell us, taxpayers, how that money is going to be spent. That's what I mean by special interest. That money should go into our potholes. Tell me what's the first thing you would say if I asked you what your infrastructure needs are, Mr. President.
Potholes. Yeah, right.
Second thing.
Pipes. A lot of pipes.
A lot of pipes. If elected, we're going to do a lot of pipes in Clairmont. All I'm saying is that there are public needs in every community, and we have not done it. We have simply not done it because people, the private folks downtown, have taken the money. It's as simple as that. So I want to work on bringing the power back to the neighborhoods. I have a jobs plan that focuses on our port and alternative energy. You know, if every public building in San Diego was powered by solar, what we could do for the economy. Private sector comes in, they expand, they hire more. Enormous demand, brings down the cost for private solar to do or private business. Why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we the solar capital of the nation, if not the world? We can do things like that. We can focus on bringing the whole community into helping our educational system. As a teacher, as a president of the school board, I know how to do that. But mainly we can bring back an excitement about what it is to be in a community in San Diego. You know, people have, because of the pension thing and everything, people have become very cynical and very skeptical of government. I think I could solve the pension problem, by the way, without new taxes, putting $500 million of new money over the next 10 years to do the potholes and the pipes. Nobody else can do that. And if we get some confidence and basic, the people feel good about their government, feel good about our environmental resources. I'll just use one example before I close. You know, we have 4 wonderful river systems in San Diego. San Diego River, the Choyas Creek, and Otay Valley River. There's been a community group around each of those parks that have purchased property and built trails, all kinds of things. I visited every one recently. There was only one other person in each park. I got 4 votes, by the way. Why aren't our citizens using these incredible resources? Why aren't tourists coming? We're not excited about it because we don't know about it. People don't even know in their own neighborhood that the park exists. You can be 2 minutes off the urban freeway and you're in almost primitive trails. It's so peaceful, it's so quiet, it's so beautiful. And we have this in San Diego, but we don't even celebrate it. We're not excited about it. We should be. We should be excited about the fact we live in a binational culture, by the way. People around the world, it's very unusual to live in the kind of culture. We should be celebrating it and not be that scared of it. We got a lot we could do in San Diego. We got to get that pension mess off the table. But let's move to the issues of the 21st century. We can create jobs. We can restore the neighborhoods. Our kids can get a better education. and we can dream again. I'll end up, one of my mentors and heroes when I was growing up politically was Bobby Kennedy. He used to end his speeches by saying, quoting George Bernard Shaw, I think, that most people see things as they are and ask, why? I dream things that never were and ask, why not? Why not have a city where we celebrate our environment and our geographical position? Why not have a city where we actually confront homelessness and say, this is unacceptable in a country as wealthy as we are? How about looking at the education system and not take it over on a corporate model but saying we can all help our children? And why not have a city where our neighborhoods like Clairmont, where we have the involvement and activity that you all show in the town council and the planning group, etc., that we actually take them seriously, and they are at the and you are at the table, and you are telling me what the neighborhood needs. So I think we can turn our dreams into reality. We need the experience and someone not tied to those special interests which have dominated us so long. It's time for Bob Filner for mayor. Thank you.
We've got time. I mean, we aren't meeting.
I heard, I saw a hand go up.
So answer some.
And I like this hand because he applauded Bobby Kennedy.
Chief Salvation is a great